Have you ever felt it? You walk into a room and no one looks up. You speak and no one really listens. You laugh and it echoes alone. They don't say it, but you feel it like you're invisible. They don't fear you. They don't even respect you. They just overlook you. And that kills something inside you. But here's the truth no one told you. Respect isn't given. It's taken. Fear isn't earned. It's engineered. And power, real power, isn't loud. It's quiet, coiled, cold. The most feared people in history never shouted. They didn't plead. They entered the room, and the room adjusted. And you, yes, you've been taught to be liked, to be soft, to be seen as good, to be the person who smiles, nods, blends in. But blending in is how you disappear. If you want to command respect, if you want people to feel something shift the moment you speak, you must become unreadable, unshakable, unforgettable. Not louder, just heavier. Like a silence that makes people nervous, like a mind that watches more than it speaks. There's a severe wisdom to commanding fear and respect. And if you master it, people will stop testing you. They'll stop underestimating you. They'll start moving carefully around you. In this video, I will give you 10 psychological laws. Each one is a blade forged from ancient wisdom and modern power. You will not be the same after hearing them. But here's what they don't want you to know. Law number 1 is hidden in plain sight. Every powerful person knows it. Every weak person ignores it. It's happening right now as you watch this. Yet most people will never see it. And once you control it, you control the entire room. But there's something more dangerous than being ignored. And most people never survive it. Watch a predator before it strikes. It doesn't bark, it doesn't growl, it goes still. Eyes locked, body coiled. The air itself changes. That's frequency. High-frequency people are noise. They talk fast, laugh loud, move constantly. They fill every silence because silence terrifies them. They think energy equals power. They're wrong. Power operates on a low frequency, like thunder before lightning, like the ocean before it destroys the shore. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Don't match their chaos. Sink below it." When someone attacks you with high-frequency energy, shouting, rushing, demanding, you do the opposite. You slow down your speech. You lower your voice. You move deliberately. Here's what happens in their brain. Their nervous system was prepared for a fight, for resistance, for you to match their energy. But you didn't. You became a void, and nature abhors a vacuum. They start filling that space, talking faster, explaining themselves, justifying, apologizing. You never said a word. But here's the dangerous part. And pay attention because most people destroy themselves here. Lower frequency doesn't mean dead. It means controlled. Like a blade that's sharp because it's cold, not because it's dull. You're not being passive. You're being selective. Every word you speak carries weight because you don't waste them on noise. The low frequency toolkit. Speak 20% slower than feels natural. Let sentences breathe. Before you respond to anything, count to 3. Let them feel the weight of that silence. Drop your voice so they have to lean in to hear you. Now they're literally bending toward your power. When everyone else is rushing, you walk. When they gesture wildly, your hands stay still. When they fidget, you don't. This is why the most feared people in history were quiet. Stalin rarely raised his voice. The most dangerous people you know, they don't need to prove anything because low frequency is confidence frequency. When you operate here, people start watching you differently. They stop interrupting you. They start waiting for your opinion. They begin to realize you're not like them. You're something else. But what happens next is where law number 2 becomes critical. And this is where most people hand over their power without even realizing it. The moment you explain, you're begging. Think about it. When has a king ever explained why he made a decision? When has lightning ever justified why it strikes? Power doesn't explain itself. It simply is. But here's what they programmed into you. Be polite. Help people understand. Make sure everyone's comfortable with your choices. Lies, all of it. Every explanation is a confession of weakness. It says, I need your approval. I need you to understand. I need you to agree. Nietzsche understood this. What does not kill me makes me stronger. But the real power is in what he didn't say. He never explained why strength mattered. He just demonstrated it. Here's the psychology. When you explain yourself, you're teaching people to question you. You're training them that your decisions are negotiable, that your authority requires their understanding. But when you simply act, when you make decisions and move forward without explanation, something shifts in their mind. This person knows something I don't. The no explanation protocol. When someone asks, why did you do that? You pause. You look at them, and you say, because I chose to. When they push, but I don't understand, you respond, you don't need to. When they demand, that doesn't make sense, you simply continue what you were doing. Warning: this will make weak people uncomfortable. Good. Discomfort is how they learn where the boundaries are. But here's what's fascinating. The less you explain, the more they respect your decisions. Because explanation suggests uncertainty. Silence suggests inevitability. Most people explain because they fear judgment. But when you stop explaining, something magical happens. People stop judging and start following. Because they sense you're operating from a place they don't understand, but desperately want to access. You become the mystery they need to solve. But never explaining yourself is just the foundation. Law number 3 is where you become truly untouchable. And this is the law that separates the powerful from the powerless forever. He who angers you conquers you. Ancient wisdom, modern power. Every time you react, every time you let someone pull emotion out of you, you've just handed them your remote control. Watch powerful people when they're insulted. They don't flinch. They don't defend. They don't even acknowledge it happened. Because they understand something most people never learn. Your reaction is their reward, the reaction trap. Someone attacks you, you defend yourself. They know they hit a nerve, they attack that nerve again. You react stronger. They now know exactly how to control you. Forever. But when you don't react, when you just absorb it and continue, something terrifying happens in their mind. Nothing I do affects this person. They're untouchable. Here's the neuroscience. When you react emotionally, you're activating your amygdala, your primitive brain. You become predictable, controllable. But when you stay calm, when you process their attack through your prefrontal cortex, you remain strategic. You see their desperation for what it is, an attempt to drag you down to their level. The Stoic shield protocol. When attacked, breathe deeper, not faster. When insulted, smile slightly, say nothing. When provoked, become more still, not more animated. Marcus Aurelius wrote how much trouble he avoids who does not look to see what his neighbor says or does. This is emotional armor. And once you wear it, people stop trying to penetrate it. But here's the advanced technique. When someone tries to make you react, you do something unexpected. You thank them. Thank you for showing me how you see the world. Thank you for revealing your character. Thank you for the information. This isn't sarcasm. This is power. You're acknowledging their attack without being hurt by it. You're showing them their weapons are useless against you. The transformation is remarkable. When people realize they can't control your emotions, they stop trying to hurt you and start trying to understand you. They move from enemy to curious observer, from attacker to secret admirer, because everyone wants to learn how to be unbreakable. But controlling your reactions is just defense. Law number 4 is pure offense, and it's the weapon most people never learn to use. Silence is not empty. It's full of answers. Most people fear silence like death. They fill every pause with noise, every gap with words, every moment with something. This is their weakness and your weapon. Why does silence terrify them? Human beings are pattern-seeking machines. When you speak, they can predict you, categorize you, figure you out. But when you're silent, their mind goes into overdrive. What are they thinking? What do they know? Why aren't they responding? Did I say something wrong? Are they judging me? Do they see something I don't? Silence makes them fill the void with their own fears. And fears are always worse than reality. This is how silence becomes a psychological pressure cooker, the silence advantage. In negotiations, let them make the first offer. Let them negotiate against themselves. In conflicts, let them exhaust their arguments while you listen. They'll eventually argue themselves into your position. In conversations, ask one question, then wait. They'll tell you everything. Because humans cannot tolerate informational vacuums. Here's the advanced application. Use silence to create hierarchy. When someone asks you a question, count to 5 before responding. This establishes that your thoughts are more valuable than their impatience. When someone makes a demand, let the silence hang until they start explaining why they need it. Now they're justifying themselves to you. Strategic Silence Toolkit. The pause. Count to 5 before responding to any question. The void. When they finish talking, wait 3 more seconds before you speak. The mirror. Repeat their last few words as a question, then silence. Let them elaborate, explain, reveal. Lao Tzu knew, "Those who know do not speak. Those who speak do not know." You are learning to know. But silence is just the setup. What you do with that silence, how you fill it when you choose to. That's where law number 5 becomes devastating. Scarcity creates value. The sun doesn't shine all the time. Gold isn't found everywhere. And you shouldn't be available to everyone. Most people are accessibility addicts. Always answering, always available, always there. And that's exactly why no one values them. The availability paradox. The more available you are, the less valuable you become. The more you give, the less they appreciate it. The more you're there, the less they notice you. But when you become scarce, suddenly your time has weight. Your attention becomes currency. Your presence becomes a privilege. How does scarcity rewire their brain? When something is rare, the human mind assigns it higher value. It's not conscious, it's neurological. The same brain that hoards resources for survival starts hoarding you. They start wondering, where are they? What are they doing? Who else has their attention? Jealousy becomes curiosity. Curiosity becomes obsession. The selective availability protocol. Don't answer immediately. Ever. Even if you're free. Don't explain your absence. "I was busy" gives them information. Just return. Don't fill their calendar. If they want you, they need to earn you. Don't be their entertainment. Be their reward. Robert Greene wrote the quote, "Jester amuses, but the king decides." You are learning to decide. When they can't have you whenever they want, they start wanting you all the time. But here's the crucial distinction. You're not playing hard to get. You're becoming hard to earn. You're genuinely selective because your purpose requires your focus. You have standards. You have priorities. You have a life that doesn't revolve around their need for your attention. This creates something powerful. Respect. Because people only value what they have to work for. What comes easily is dismissed. What requires effort is treasured. Your selective availability teaches them that access to you is earned, not assumed. And once they learn this lesson, they never forget it. But scarcity without substance is just manipulation. Law number 6 gives your presence real power. And this is where you start controlling time itself. Before every decision, before every response, before every movement. Pause. Weak people are reactive. They respond instantly. They speak immediately. They move without thinking. You are learning to be deliberate. The pause does 3 things. It makes them wait, establishing hierarchy. It makes them wonder, creating mystery. It makes them want, building anticipation, neurological fact. The human brain interprets pauses as confidence. When you pause before speaking, their subconscious reads it as this person thinks before they act. They're in control. But here's the deeper psychology. The pause creates space for your intelligence to emerge. When you react instantly, you're operating from emotion, instinct, habit. When you pause, you access your wisdom, the power pause protocol. Before any response, count to 3. Before any decision, take a breath. Before any movement, choose it consciously. This sounds simple, but it's revolutionary. Most people are slaves to their impulses. You're becoming master of your choices. Watch what happens when you implement this. In arguments, your pause makes them uncertain. Did I go too far? Are they angry? Are they thinking of something devastating to say? In negotiations, your pause creates pressure. They start improving their offer before you even respond. In social situations, your pause makes you magnetic. People lean in, waiting for your words. But here's the advanced application. Use the pause to create dramatic tension. When someone asks you an important question, pause, look at them directly, then pause again before answering. You've just created a moment they'll remember forever. Because the pause makes your words matter. The master's pause is different from hesitation. Hesitation comes from uncertainty. The power pause comes from choice. You could respond immediately, but you choose not to. That choice, that control, that's where your power lives. But pausing is just timing. Law number 7 is about reading, and this knowledge will make you dangerous. The body never lies. The mouth always does. While they're telling you one thing with their words, their body is screaming the truth. Most people focus on faces, trying to read expressions, looking for micro-expressions, analyzing smiles. But faces lie professionally. Bodies tell the truth accidentally, the language of lies. Feet pointed toward exits, they want to escape. Crossed arms, they're defending. Touching their face, they're deceiving. Leaning away, they're rejecting. But here's the dangerous knowledge. When you start reading bodies instead of listening to words, you see everything. Their fear, their attraction, their weakness, their lies, their desires they don't even admit to themselves. Advanced body reading. Watch their baseline behavior first. How do they normally stand, sit, gesture? Then watch for deviations. When they're lying, their body betrays them. When they're attracted, their body reveals it. When they're afraid, their body confesses it. When they're planning something, their body telegraphs it. The feet are particularly honest. If someone's feet point towards you during conversation, they're engaged. If their feet point toward the door, they want to leave. If their feet point towards someone else while talking to you, that's where their real attention is. Feet don't lie because people forget they have them. In every interaction, spend 70% of your attention on their body, 30% on their words. Their feet will tell you if they respect you. Their hands will tell you if they fear you. Their posture will tell you if they see you as superior, equal, or inferior. Their micro movements will tell you things they would never say out loud. This knowledge makes you a human lie detector. But more than that, it makes you strategic. When you can read their true state, you can adjust your approach. When you see their fear, you can either intensify or reassure. When you see their attraction, you can either escalate or create distance. When you see their deception, you can either confront or collect information. But reading their body is just intelligence gathering. Law number 8 is about controlling the entire battlefield. And this is where you become truly formidable. Reality is not fixed. It's negotiated. And whoever controls the conversation's frame controls reality itself. Most people accept whatever frame is handed to them. If someone says you're being unreasonable, they defend their reasonableness. If someone says you're too sensitive, they prove they're not sensitive. They're fighting on the enemy's battlefield. You reframe everything. You're being unreasonable becomes, I'm being selective. You're too quiet becomes, I'm being thoughtful. You're intimidating becomes, I'm being authentic. Frame controls psychology. Whoever sets the frame controls the entire interaction. When you reframe, you're not just changing words, you're changing reality. Here's how framing works. Every situation can be interpreted multiple ways. The person who provides the interpretation that sticks controls how everyone understands what happened. This is not manipulation. This is leadership. You're helping people understand reality from a more empowering perspective. The reframe arsenal. When accused of being difficult, reframe to being discerning. When accused of being cold, reframe to being focused. When accused of being demanding, reframe to having standards. When accused of being antisocial, reframe to being selective with your energy. Each reframe shifts the power dynamic in your favor. Advanced framing. Don't just defend against their frames. Set your own frames proactively. Instead of waiting for them to define the situation, you define it first. This is why confidence is so powerful. Confident people set the frame that they are valuable, competent, worthy of respect. And others accept that frame because it's presented with certainty. Never accept their frame. Always offer your own. Make them argue within your version of reality. When they try to make you defensive, you make them explanatory. When they try to put you on trial, you become the judge. When they try to make you small, you expand the conversation to show your true size. This is frame warfare. And once you master it, you realize that most arguments aren't about facts. They're about whose version of reality gets accepted. Win the frame, win everything. But controlling frames is still playing their game. Law number 9 is about transcending the game entirely. What they don't know about you is more powerful than what they do. Mystery creates obsession. The unknown creates fascination. Unanswered questions create addiction. Most people are open books. They share everything. Their problems, their history, their plans, their fears. By the third conversation, you know their entire story. Boring, predictable, forgettable. You do the opposite. You reveal just enough to intrigue them, never enough to satisfy them. The mystery mechanism. The human brain has a completion bias. Incomplete stories create mental tension. They need to fill in the gaps. They become obsessed with solving you. This is not deception. This is strategic revelation. You're not hiding who you are. You're revealing who you are at the optimal pace. Here's the psychology. When someone tells you everything immediately, your brain categorizes them and moves on. But when someone reveals themselves slowly, in layers, your brain stays engaged. You keep trying to figure them out. You keep coming back for more information. You become invested in the mystery. Calculated mystery protocol. Answer questions with questions. Share stories without endings. Mention interesting things, then change the subject. Make them chase your information. When they ask about your past, give them one intriguing detail, then redirect. When they ask about your plans, share the vision, not the strategy. When they ask about your feelings, show them through actions, not words. But here's the advanced technique. Use mystery to create multiple interpretations of who you are. Let different people see different aspects of your character. Not deception, but selection. You show the scholar to intellectuals, the rebel to conformists, the artist to business people. Each group thinks they know the real you, but they only know one dimension. This creates something powerful, legend. Because when people can't fully define you, they start mythologizing you. They fill in the blanks with their imagination. And imagination is always more compelling than reality. You become larger than life because you remain partially unknown. Mystery without substance is just confusion. But mystery with depth, mystery with layers, mystery with genuine substance underneath, that's magnetic. People will follow you just to see what you reveal next. But mystery is still external perception. Law number 10 is about internal transformation. And this is where you become unstoppable, the final law, the ultimate transformation. Inevitability is not force. It's not aggression. It's the quiet certainty that what you want will happen. Most people hope things will work out. They wish people will respect them. They try to make things happen. You don't try, you don't hope, you don't wish. You simply are. When you speak with the certainty of gravity. When you move with the certainty of tides. When you decide with the certainty of time itself. The inevitability effect. When people sense absolute certainty in you, when they feel your unshakable conviction, their brain does something fascinating. It stops fighting you. It starts joining you, because humans are wired to follow certainty. In uncertainty, they're afraid. In your certainty, they find peace. They find direction. They find something solid to hold on to in a chaotic world. This is not arrogance. Arrogance is false certainty, compensation for insecurity. Inevitability is true certainty, the result of absolute self-knowledge. How do you become inevitable? First, you must know yourself completely. Your strengths, your weaknesses, your values, your mission. When you know yourself this deeply, your decisions become automatic. You don't wonder what to do. You know what you must do. Second, you must align your actions with your nature. When you stop fighting yourself, when you stop pretending to be someone else, your power becomes effortless. Third, you must commit completely to your path. No backup plans, no exit strategies, no hedging your bets. When you burn the bridges behind you, when you make retreat impossible, you discover resources you never knew you had. You become unstoppable because stopping is not an option. The Inevitability Protocol. Speak as if your words are laws of physics. Move as if your path is destiny. Decide as if your choice is inevitable. Because it is. When you operate from this level of certainty, people don't question your decisions. They don't resist your direction. They don't doubt your success. They recognize something in you that transcends normal human limitation. This is not about controlling others. This is about becoming so aligned with your true nature, so committed to your authentic path, so certain of your direction, that others naturally want to follow. They sense that you know something they don't, that you've discovered something they're searching for, that you've become something they want to become. Inevitability is the ultimate power because it's not power over others. It's power with reality itself. When you become inevitable, you're not fighting the world. You are the world expressing itself through you. This is the final transformation. From someone who hopes to be noticed to someone who changes everything simply by existing. You came here feeling invisible, overlooked, powerless. That person is dead. You have learned the 10 laws. Lower your frequency, you move like power. Never explain yourself. You exist like authority. Control your reactions, you stand like stone. Master strategic silence, you listen like a weapon. Become selectively unavailable, you are valued like gold. Master the power pause, you think like a master. Watch their feet, not their face. You see like a predator. Control the frame, you shape reality. Cultivate calculated mystery, you fascinate like a riddle. Become inevitability, you exist like destiny. You are no longer someone who enters a room hoping to be noticed. You are someone who enters a room and the room changes. People will stop testing you. They will stop underestimating you. They will start moving carefully around you because you have become something they recognize but cannot name. Dangerous, magnetic, untouchable. But remember this above all. This power is not a weapon for dominating others. It is the armor for mastering yourself. It is not for breaking the will of the weak, but for ensuring your own will is never broken again. This is your new reality. Knowledge without action is just entertainment. The 10 laws mean nothing if you don't implement them. Start with law number 1 today. Lower your frequency. Speak slower. Move deliberately. Watch what happens. Feel the shift in how people respond to you. That's just the beginning. Mastery is not a destination, it's a discipline. These laws will transform you, but only if you practice them relentlessly. Only if you commit to becoming the person who embodies them naturally. Only if you decide that your old self, that invisible, overlooked, powerless person, is never coming back. Welcome to your power. You are not one of them anymore. You are not a follower. You are a MENTALLICA, forged in silence, shaped by wisdom, destined to command your world. Now go and let the room adjust to you.